for a guy who borrowed his boat and taking parties out doing wreck fishing with anglers. And that was all right, but it weren't me, it weren't proper fishing, and it weren't what I wanted to be doing. So then Tom Machin rang me up, and I got a phone call did I want to take Coronia, skipper the Coronia. So I thought, oh, that might be good, you know, I've never been a people person, I've always been at sea, 3 or 4 men, and that's it. But I said I'd come and give it a go for a try, but I loved it, and I did that for 14 years. I was skipper at Coronia and Regal Lady. I used to take 2-day trips up to Whitby on the Tuesday and the Thursday, take 150 people up to Whitby, give them 3 hours ashore and come back. And I loved it, all that was good. And I decided, found out then I was like a people person and I enjoyed it. And I thought, well, that was just a summer job, and I'm not one for giving in. I still want to work now and things like that. But so the summertime I thought, that's fine, but what am I going to do through winter? So I had a couple of winters not doing out, and then Pete Thundercliffe, who was a fisherman at Bridlington, had worked in Morrison's fish counter, and he decided he was starting at Safeways. So he rung me up and he said, how would you like to do Morrison's fish cast? I've never worked in a shop, I wouldn't know where to start. I said, what are you doing? So he said, I'm going to Safeways, do you want to come with me then? I said, yeah, I'll come with you. Showed me the ropes, so I did 7 years at Safeways on their fish counter. And I loved it, I loved winding old ladies up. So I used to match kippers and tell them I knew 6 of them. And I wouldn't sell anybody any rubbish. I was always in trouble with management. I hope nobody's from Sainsbury's here. But it was like lobsters. We used to get these Canadian lobsters at £6-7 a go. And there'd be more meat in a prawn. You get an old lady coming and never tried a lobster in her life, thinking, I've never tried a lobster in my life. What would that be like, Tom? And I'm going, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's no good. Here, have a prawn. So the manager came round, and Pete was on his break, and it was Valentine's Day. And we had 30 boxes of tuna to sell, and we couldn't get rid of it. It was on offer. It was going cheap. So the manager says, you're not on your microphone enough, Tom. Get on, mate. I didn't like being told off. I don't like that. I was only there for fun of it, really. And he says, get on that microphone and tell them about the tuna. And I thought, So I'm on my own, and I thought, what can I do? So it's Valentine's Day, I know. So all out shop floor, there's my voice saying, it's Valentine's Day. Never mind chocolates, never mind flowers. Swooner with tuna. We sold it all. So I think you have to have a laugh in your line of work. As long as things are getting done right, I've always been the joker and things like that. I once took some meat off to a boat 40 mile off, and they'd had no food for, I don't know, a week maybe. And I put, instead of all the butcher stuff in a carrier bag, I filled it full of old ironworks and middles of bobbins and things. So they're waiting like tongues hanging out, and I threw this bag, but I threw it short on purpose, and it just fell short of the boat. And all faces running out trying to get it. But I had rail bag in the other hand.
Why did you change Tom about making crab pots?
Making crab pots when I was a kid, yeah. I said about 12, 14. I used to come home from school and make crab pots. Well, you know the old wooden crab pots with the hazel bowl. We used to make them out of that. So my dad would knock the frames up, and outside there'd be 20 crab pots. It was my homework, this. So I'd that to do before my proper schoolwork. And then I'm making them, and then I found out other fishermen had paid me 10 bob a pot. But my dad paid me now. So I started doing them for other people. So my dad sat at one side of the living room, I'm at the other, and we didn't talk, and we were both braiding away. And I used to practice, I used to put like, under tables, I'd make a sheet of netting just to put newspapers on and things. In my bedroom, I made a pair of proper net curtains out of twine. And things like that. That was all good practice. And but you always got paid off other people. You get paid off your dad. But my mum used to put our sea gear. We had a big iron fireplace with an oven door, and she would put. This before I got married. So if me and my dad are getting up to go to sea, same time but different boats, And my mum would always put our sea gear in the oven next to the fire. So first up got best pair of socks, best smocks, best trousers, and everything like that. But my dad was, I've said a lot about my dad, but don't get me wrong, I loved him, he was my hero. And it was only up to his latter days when I was 50-year-old and he was dying. And I said, why were you so hard on me? And he said, because you want your best out, you know. And I said, I understand life a lot better because I was more grown up. But he couldn't understand teenagers, you know. We were dancing 4 or 5 nights a week, and then having to get up at 3 o'clock. It didn't always work. But I followed my dad's example, and as I say, he was my mentor. He had a varied life. He was 25 years lifeboat, second coxswain in the Scarborough lifeboat, won the bronze medal, and they were very brave men, all of them. But I sailed with. When he retired, my dad, I took him to Scotland because he'd got blown up on Isle of Mull. He was a skipper of a trawler during the war, and alongside an ammunition cargo boat, and it'd been set alight, sabotaged, and it blew up. And he said there was blokes screaming out the portholes, but he couldn't get to him. He was on a raft. They could touch him, but couldn't get him out. The boat was on fire, and it haunted him for the rest of his life. That, and taking him back to that place in Benesson where it happened, and a tear in his eye, I'll never forget it. And he was picked up on a raft and taken to Argyle Arms. I don't know if you've ever been to Mull and Benesson. And he went to Argyle Arms. There was 4 of us, and I said, "Oh, we'll get a pint and we'll get a bar meal or something." He said, "No, you'll get yours, Tom. I'm looking after myself." So he wouldn't have out to do with me and Lindy and his fishing partner of 40 years. And he said, I'll look after myself. So it was a thing, I know, that scamp in a basket. He started another. My dad says to last, she was only about 20, "I'll have a bottle of brown ale off that bottom shelf, my love." So she snaps it open, she put it on counter and says, £2.50. He said, "Bugger off, I paid for one in 1941 and I've never had it." So there was all them stories. And yeah, I was in a boat called Jan Denise, got run down by a German cargo boat. Got run down twice. We were a lucky boat, that one. Well, I just come out of fish room, it was a still night, it was as fine as this, and that's when it's most dangerous because they're likely to be off guard on watch on a big cargo boat. And the ship just kept coming and coming and coming until it jumped, banged right into the middle of it. Well, it banged into starboard gallus, which was probably the strongest part of the boat, and stopped us sinking, so it was all panic. And you do panic, I know you're not supposed to, you're supposed to do this back book and that back book. And yet we run down cabin, 4 crew, we all put life jackets on and realised, we're all big lads like, realised we couldn't get back up hatch. Got your life jacket on, you're pushing and shoving, trying to get, we laugh about it now, but it could have been serious then. And then I once took Coronia with all with RNLI, Coast Guards, also police, everybody, fire brigade. They were all doing this mock thing where I took 90 passengers off on Coronia to do a mock disaster. We were supposed to be on fire. So it was bad weather. Well, I didn't know which was actors and which was proper casualties, because some had slings, some had black eyes, some had cuts on the head, and we had to evacuate them all off. We had a meeting in Lifeboat House after it, with me being skipper at Coronia, as to what should have been done and what wasn't done, you know. And I got into trouble. I'd sent the engineer down to see what the fire was, but he never come back. He was in bar. I got into trouble for that, and I'd said to him afterwards, we're all wrong because nobody's mentioned, so Coast Guard and RNLI, I said, we've got 2 rafts, 120-man rafts, these raft space, for 240 people. They're still in cradles. Nobody thought about launching them, and we were on fire. So it does happen like that. You do lose your senses and what you should be doing and what you do are 2 different things. And then I've been at lifeboat a few times myself, but with me being in trawlers, I was never a regular lifeboat man. It was made up of fishermen in early days. And you would do that, you would jump in. One bad night when Neptune oil rig was toppling over, there was a bad night in the late 60s, I went down with my dad because I was still at school and living at home. And there's only 6-man crew at lifeboat. And my dad was in it, my Uncle Jack was in it, and I was in it. Bill Sheeder was coxswain, and he threw me out. He said, I can't take 3 from same family, because it was a really, really bad night, you know. And all the times I've been in it. And then I finished up when I sort of retired from fishing, and I did 12 years as a lifeboat operation, like a deputy launch advisor, where the lifeboat, if it's launched, the Coast Guards used to ring people, 3 of us like me, as to what condition the sea is, what do I think, because Coast Guards in Bridlington and Hull, they don't know what it's like at Scarborough, you know, so they're asking, do we need the big boat, do we need the little boat, do we need both boats, helicopters, what? So that was interesting. I did that for 12 years. But just all done now. I worked in box office for Regal area, that's just come to an end, so I think I might retire. She said I've got to find a job. So, yeah. If you want any questions or answers, anything.
Oh, you haven't said about old Tom.
Oh, Tommy. I'll just show you this. This was the lady come to our house a long time ago, and it says Iron Men in Wooden Boats, and there's 2 or 3 pages there. This goes back a bit, because that's my dad, me. That's my son who's 51 next month. This is my grandson who's 27. So these 2 are in the Navy now. That's my daughter-in-law. And Tommy, as I say, my son's 51 coming up. He joined Navy at 17, Royal Navy, so he didn't have to come fishing. I wanted him. I had a boat and everything. It did hurt at the time, I'll be honest about it. But I think I was sort of the reason he run away to join Navy at 17. He's still in Navy now, 34 years, and he's gone up through the ranks from a junior seaman up to a lieutenant commander. And his last deployment was on Dauntless, which is our latest destroyer. I went a week with him on Dauntless. I've been a week on HMS Liverpool with him. I was a week on HMS York with him, but Dauntless is something else, the D-class destroyer. And you're in an op room like as big as this, with as many people as this in, and I'm like this, and although the skipper sat here, the air-to-surface man is here, and the underwater warfare officer is here. So Tommy sat here, the old man sat here, and I'm sat behind him, and I'm going, what now, Tom? Don't shout. £6 million each. What's this? And then my grandson, young Tom, we try to stick to Tom, Tommy and Thomas, but when we're all together, if we're having a pint, we're all Toms. To friends, we're all Tom. But if we're in family room, we've got to stick to our family name, else we don't know who we're talking to. So the young one, Thomas, he's 28, 27. He's been in Navy 7-8 years. He's following his dad, so I'm really proud. My daughter Joanne runs Rowley's dance school. You know that at YMCA. She does that with 200 or 300 kids and under her books, and so they're good. And I'm blessed with 4 lovely grandkids, and very happy. Just get rid of her and I'm away.
You deserve a medal. I'm looking at your wife.
She's going to shut him up now.
So just before you have your tea break then, and you can have a look at these, is there any questions that you want to ask either of us?
Yeah, can I ask something, please? I'm really sorry for you about your decommissioning of your boat. It must have been terrible. I just wonder, do you have any idea how many fishing boats there were in your day and how many there are now?
In Scarborough?
Yes.
Well, in Scarborough, 1963, 63 when I left school,
Yeah,
there would be 25 what I would class as trawlers.
right.
There's maybe 4 or 5 now.
Right.
Well, they don't fish from me anymore. The big ones fish down, because the steaming time is taken up in the quarter days, the days at sea. If they give you 200 days at sea,
Yeah,
you don't want to spend one steaming down to Aberdeen So they leave the boats down Aberdeen, Peterhead and fish out of there. And that's a better market anyhow. But the smaller boats, I'm afraid with red tape and one thing and another, they're running them one-handed, two-handed, which is dangerous. So they make it where we can't go to sea because you want this, or red tape is just killed it. It's like doing a job with one hand behind your back. Because it was a free-for-all, there was no quotas when I first started going to sea. And fishermen want to conserve just as much as everybody else. But to start kicking hundreds of stones of fish through outside because you can't land them, it's no good to me or anybody. So they come up with an idea. I'll just finish off with like a codling was 12 inches, and overnight they increased it to 14 inches. So that was, all that meant was 12, 13-inch codlings we were kicking through outside. And I got no better price for them, and you didn't get a difference when you buy them in your fish shop either. And it's just somebody sat in an office who's on about 500 grand a year, thinks, oh, this would be a good idea. We'll up the mash size, we'll up this, but you still catch small fish. And it would be better, I think it would be better for conservation all around if you just boxed that fish and brought it in and you were happy you've got a day's work, you've got a day's pay. And nobody's hurt and no fish just laid on seabed rotting. And you go home, you put your telly on, anyway, well, there's thousands of kids starving or fighting for a bowl full of rice, and I've just dumped 200 stone of fish.
And I think that's why we get all this a lot of these seagull problems is when they used to be gutting at sea, then the seagulls were out at sea and getting the gut for their food. Now that isn't happening anymore, so they're coming inland to get the food, and some people are feeding them.
They don't come near our house, so you won't send them food.
Look at the size of it.
Hot noodle.
Tom did have to finish fishing because he had cancer. He had kidney cancer and lost a kidney. Then 12 years after that he had bowel cancer, and he's now got liver cancer, or cancer in his liver, should I say. But he just kept going. He laid his boat up one time, supposedly to finish fishing, and he was off for 9 months and decided he'd gone back again. So you can see why I wanted him to get rid of the boat. So it's not just me nagging him.
When I did finish with the boat, I'd been doing a deal to try and buy a smaller boat, unbeknown to Lindy. And I'd done a deal on phone with a boat in Milford Haven. Well, Milford Haven was about 6-7 hour drive from home. And I decided to meet the guy, go down to Wales and meet him. And she rung me up, said, where are you, at Fish Market? I says, no, I'm in Chester, I'm on my way through North Wales, going down to Milford. She thought I was kidding. And I'd only chucked a few clothes in the carrier bag.
Some underpants, that's all you took.
And I went, so I went down Milford Haven, and the boat what he'd sent the pictures of me looked a palace, but it was a wreck. So I didn't even get to meet the bloke. And then I went from Milford Haven, I drove down to Brixham. So I get to Brixham, another boat I'd been looking at. I wanted it badly, and I said to the guy, I'll have it, but I wanted 10,000 knocking off it because engine wanted a lot of work on. I said, by the time I get it home and get engine fitted, you know, I want it lowered, price lowered a bit. And he wouldn't, so I went and booked in a pub and stopped for the night and met him again next morning, he wouldn't do it. And then next, I said, right, I'll give you an hour, I'll go up motorway, and if you change your mind, just give me a ring. And he didn't, so I pulled in for a coffee, I rung Lindy and I said, I finished, and I've never touched a net or anything since.
You don't make little crab pots.
I make little crab pots, just novelty ones, put flowers in, just for friends, and sometimes put a bottle of wine in what they can't get at. That's a little crab pot, like one of them miniature bottles of wine, but I've sewed it all around and we can't get into it. And I
That's what he gives his
on,
nurses for
in
Christmas.
emergency, cut the twine. Any questions?
How long did it take you to make a crab pot? You know, when you say
a
when
full
you're at home,
size.
when you used to get your
Actually,
10 bob?
actually making a small one takes me longer to make a small one than the big one, because the frames, they get the frames made now they're already welded with steel rods, you know. But my little one